Today's episode is brought to you by Audible. For you, the listeners of Awesome Sunday Show, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. And all you have to do is go to audibletrial.com/awesomesundayshow. It's audibletrial.com/awesomesundayshow. Sign up for your free 30-day trial. Check out over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or any of the other 500 devices that they support. Might I recommend The Hobbit, unabridged version by J.R.R. Tolkien. Forget the movies. Listen to the audiobook. They have 180,000 to choose from. Promise you won't be disappointed. All you have to do is go to audibletrial.com/awesomesundayshow for a free audiobook download with a 30-day free trial. Thank you, Audible, for sponsoring this episode.
And today's show is also brought to you by BarkBox.com. You can get one free extra month of BarkBox at www.getbarkbox.com/awesome. What is BarkBox? Well, I'm glad you asked. Every month, BarkBox paws pick the best all-natural treats and innovative toys to match a dog's unique needs, including allergies and heavy chewer preferences. All edibles are made in the USA and Canada, and 100% of the products are tested on animals. BarkBox is a great way to try different treats from local businesses, and each monthly box is also themed: New York City, Country Fair, etc., etc. And if the dog doesn't like something in the box, they'll actually send you something that the dog will love for free, because they're all about the dog's happiness, and there's free shipping on any BarkBox within the continental U.S. And if the dog falls in love with something from the box, you can easily find it again on barkshop.com or just by texting them or go on the app. So remember, if you want to nab that free extra month of BarkBox, go over to www.getbarkbox.com/awesome.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
Oh my god, you guys.
Hey everybody, it's time for the Awesome Sunday Show!
Hey everybody, welcome back to Awesome Sunday Show. Connor here.
And Pat?
Pat, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you? I don't
Doing
really
good.
care. Let's get into the episode. I'm kidding. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I guess you could say we're recording right now. I'm not far from home. That was a terrible joke. It was meant to be terrible, though. But I'll tell you what's not terrible is the special guest that we have today, recording this podcast for the interview. Wow, for the review. There's definitely some type of view there. But as we review Spider-Man Far From Home, we will be getting into spoilers, so fair warning. Super spoiler heavy. But let's have our special guests reintroduce themselves, because this is not the first time that they're here. Who wants to go first?
Dom Pagnotta.
And this is Joe Paganada.
How you doing, guys? Good?
Absolutely.
Doing good.
Yeah. Happy to see you both back here.
Thanks for having us again.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They were here for the last Marvel one, so I had to bring them back for Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was. We liked you both so much that it made us not hate each other for a little bit. You know,
Like 10 seconds.
We'll buy you another 10 today.
like 8.
There
I
you
was gonna say 8.
All right.
All right.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe 10.
We could give it a 10 for Infinity War.
Maybe
Yeah,
it'll be
there we
10
go.
this
Or
time
Endgame.
and then 12
It was
next
Infinity
time.
Wars. Or, I'm
Endgame,
sorry,
Endgame.
Endgame.
I fucked that up.
It's all right.
I followed you. That too.
Anyway,
It was
Spider-Man
Mary
Far From
Poppins
Home.
Returns. Actually, you're both wrong. But
Venom.
Connor loved Venom. I don't know if you heard.
No, I
oh
heard.
fuck that.
Venom.
Eminem's best song ever.
Oh dude, fuck that song. And it sucks too because Eminem's awesome and like.
That was garbage. That was
Yeah.
worse than was it Relapse that he had? That shit album before Recovery that he like had a fucking comeback and a half.
Yes, it was Relapse.
Yeah.
I don't think that album's shitty, but
It was
it's
pretty bad.
It's not good.
Speaking of Venom, a funny story about Venom, other than Connor and Anthony D'Elia, who I know is listening to this, loving it. One of Dom and Joe's cousins loved Venom, and we were playing Game of Thrones Risk, and he brought up how he liked it, and then
Genuinely liked
genuinely enjoyed it.
I think he gave it like a 7.
He gave it at least at least
it
a
was up
7.
there.
It was up there. It was way too much than that movie
it.
deserves.
The rest of us were just dumbfounded.
Dumbfounded, and we explained to him why that movie was bad.
I think
And-
we actually
and
convinced
we, like-
him to lower his rating.
And like we just flipped a switch, and he goes, "Holy fuck, you guys are so right. I just never thought about it."
Yeah, you're definitely way more successful than the conversations I have with people. Then I'm also like really like you're wrong. Like when people tell me that, so they're probably not open ears. Like,
You're an
We had
internet
facts.
commentator.
We had facts.
like people at work are probably the worst offenders. Like that's where the people I work with, no offense, like you all have great opinions about movies, but your opinion about Venom fucking sucks because you liked it. This isn't Venom, which
Thank God.
Thank
Yeah.
God this wasn't Venom.
because this movie was fucking really good. I don't know how you guys felt about it. I loved it.
I enjoyed it.
I thought it was
enjoyed a lot.
fucking great.
Yeah, obviously you guys are going first because you're very special guests, but I kind of want to. I definitely want to throw this out there right now. I think it's not. I don't think it's the best MCU movie on a technical or storytelling level, but it's definitely my favorite. I'll tell you that.
It's up there.
Yeah,
it's up there.
it's a
It
top
did
3 for
very
sure.
well.
Yeah, I thought it was so fucking good.
I liked it better than Homecoming.
I did
I
too.
did
And
too,
I know
yeah.
you love Homecoming.
Yeah,
I
I
liked
know.
it better.
I 100% liked it better than Homecoming.
As
I
soon
actually
as-
liked Homecoming a little bit better.
Right.
But like very slightly.
Yeah, and you know what? That's not a bad opinion to have because Homecoming was fucking great. But I do, as soon as before this was even finished, I was like, I like this better than Homecoming. And it's not by a huge margin. I thought this was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Homecoming, like is still like at least to me, does kind of slow down in the middle, even though like it is necessary storytelling. This kept those boring middle parts that you normally see in way too many movies, and like really keeps it flashy with like awesome imagery.
Well, that was I think the one middle scene, which we'll obviously get into later, was by far one of the most spectacular things I've ever seen.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
And
I know
you guys
exactly
are-
what you're talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to it, but I agree. The special effects there are
Was
Yeah,
amazing.
it was incredible. But very special effects guests always go first. You guys can fight over who definitely wants to talk first, if you want. I'm not going to suggest it.
Do it, whoever has the bigger dick.
Yeah,
Dom goes first.
Suicide by words. Nice.
It's cold in here.
Self burn. Nice.
all right, Big Dick Dom, you go first then.
I thought it was great. I'm giving it a solid 8.
Okay.
It definitely, maybe even a little bit higher. I don't know. Maybe a little bit low. We'll get back to that.
Yeah,
Like I said, I liked it better than Homecoming. I think Mysterio was much better villain, much more well-rounded than Vulture. It was just all around great movie.
yeah.
I'm gonna just give it a little bit lower. I think my rating is like a 7.5.
Okay.
To be honest, I don't really know my reasoning why I think it was Homecoming was better than Far From Home. I do agree with you that Homecoming was a little bit slow in the beginning and then picked up at the end.
Yeah.
I think Far From Home was kind of slow in the beginning, like fucking took off in the middle and then kind of died down a little bit at the end. But not to say it was a bad movie. That's just why I think it was a little bit better than why I liked Homecoming better.
Right.
But still, overall, excellent movie. Definitely up there in one of the MCU movies ever made. The character development was awesome. The way they did Mysterio was spectacular. I was kind of
Yeah.
worried coming into it, but they killed it. Jake Gyllenhaal did an excellent job. The character development, the character interaction, they really did well.
Yeah, talk about updating a villain excellently, because like they perfectly kept like how over the top Mysterio is and how like goofy looking he is, but still made it look cool. Like that dome head was
The fishbowl.
the fishbowl.
It had a
Was,
purpose.
It had a purpose.
I love that they did his costume and didn't try to change it because
Oh, his
Yeah.
costume looked incredible.
the costume is one of the dumbest looking costumes in the MCU.
Right.
In the comic book universe.
Yeah.
It looks kind of dumb. So I was like, I really hope they don't try to change it to make it like appeal to the fans. And they hit spot on what he looks like.
Yeah, no, and it looks like it actually legitimately looks cool too while being goofy. And then like the real suit that he had for like Edith, where it's like the dome around him, he can control everything. Like it kind of looked like it made sense.
Yes.
So yeah, and I don't know, Pat. What about
Yeah,
you?
I think that this movie was absolutely phenomenal. I love that the way that they did Mysterio because he is a goofy ass villain. He's awesome. I love him as a villain in the comics,
Right.
but he is pretty goofy. And I understand why people were like, he's a master of special. He does special effects. He's like almost like a magician. How can he be such a formidable foe to Spider-Man? But the way that they chose to go about him in this was so smart,
Which I fucking
so well done.
loved.
Yeah.
And obviously the CGI for everything he did was so good.
Yeah, and it's not that the CG looked real; it just looked good. You know, it didn't because there was definitely some parts where I was like, "This looks like it's CG," but like I have that with every movie. So, but it just visually looked appealing. Like the trip that he was having when Mysterio was trying to get the information out of him.
Oh, that was so
unbelievable.
fucking cool.
Yeah,
oh
like
my
there was,
god.
there were so many parts where it looked like Spider-Man for PS4, but on PS6. So I was like, "Fuck it!" Like this looks so good. I don't care that it doesn't look real right now. I just
But in a way, is it? Again, this is me just thinking a little bit too much. Maybe it was kind of done purposely in a way because it is supposed to be a visual effect
Oh,
that he's
100
projecting.
Yeah, I'm not. Whatever the decision was, it was a good decision.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, I
it was
don't
well done.
like. I'm not gonna pretend to know what the conversation was, but like, if it did go around to something where like, no, like that was a creative choice to not make it to kind of look at more like flashy and color, but then also like dark, Mysterio-ish. Then whatever, whoever made that decision, good decision. Yeah.
And I liked his backstory in this, and it's another villain that has a personal connection to Tony Stark. All of
Yeah.
Iron Man's villains, and then so far both of Spider-Man's main villains, were slighted by Tony Stark in some way.
And not being boring.
Yes,
either.
and not being
and
boring.
not being boring.
I mean, we'll exclude the quality of the Mandarin, quote unquote, in my Iron Man 3.
Or Guy Pearce.
Yeah. But like, and the way that Mysterio pulled this off and how he brought in a whole crew for this, I really like how they're keeping that personal connection going, and how in both these movies, while Peter put himself in that position to be tangled with them, more so in Homecoming than this, you know, he's still picking up. He has to deal with the effects of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Aside on just a personal level, on a literal level with the villains that are a result of him. And it just shows that Iron Man is still the biggest presence in the MCU, and probably will be for another couple of movies, I think.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like until like another guy in a suit wants to get revenge. You know. That's it.
But I think now for, I mean, whatever the next Spider-Man movie is going to be, we're going to
Yeah.
see a shift in that to something that's wholly Peter's. Like Peter's
I'm
on his own.
glad too, and like I guess it's not a criticism towards this movie because it's not really, it wasn't a trope within the movie, but like it is kind of funny because my biggest problem with those Iron Man movies, it's like every villain is a guy in a suit that doesn't like him. Like that's really it.
But I mean, it's something that a lot of comic book heroes have, is their villains are always like
A
kind of
lesser
evil,
version
mirror
them.
of
like a
themselves.
mirror
Yeah.
version of themselves.
but like 3 times, and like they're kind of all the same. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
and but Jake Gyllenhaal definitely fits within that category, but I think he does enough with the character, or the character was written and differently enough, or maybe it was a combination of both, to where like I didn't feel it was a trope from those other movies. Mainly because like they've incorporated it so well within past Iron Man and Captain America movies, as far as when it comes to like who was there and like who did he screw over. It wasn't just like some dude from the fucking 80s with like big ass glasses and like
who got
Tony
stood
Stark's
up on
just
the
like,
roof.
Get on my face, man. Like it was like it actually made sense, and it brought. It was definitely a nice callback to those movies, and it definitely brings Tony's past mistakes past his death.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and I like how the way that Peter was dealing with the absence of Tony and his death throughout this, and how it still kept the focus in a positive way, how he wanted to honor him, but then the amount of pressure that was on himself, like especially when he's at Feast. And, in the beginning, after showing off to help out Aunt May, and they're like, are you the new Iron Man? Are you going to be the new Iron Man? And he felt that pressure the entire time, especially once he got Edith. Mm-hmm. He's like, fuck, I'm the new Iron Man, and he never wanted to be.
And then you finally saw him break down when he was in the jet with Happy Hogan.
Oh, that was such a good interaction.
yeah.
And speaking of that, fucking loved Happy in this again, and good for him for getting Aunt May.
Yeah,
Or
even
whatever
though
is going on
Kind
there.
of.
Kind
it's,
of.
It's like a summer fling.
Yeah.
Hey, I would take a summer flame
I
with
would
Marissa
take-
Tomei
well,
any day.
Dude, I would take a day fling, and it was Marissa
Just her
Tomei.
acknowledging me, I think.
Yeah, I would take
great.
I would take a handshake from her, and just never watch that hand ever again.
And of course, there were several gratuitous shots of her butt in this. No complaints there. You
100%.
got to do it.
Dude. Marissa Tomei in jeans. I don't know how that's not a meme. Like, it's just
The fact that she looks this good at like 55, 56 or whatever the hell she is, insane.
yeah, and like.
She got hotter with age.
She did.
Yeah,
She really did.
And like, dude, like I used like, it's funny because in My Cousin Vinny. Now, granted, in My Cousin Vinny, she's still Marissa Tomei. Don't get me
Still-
wrong.
Nothing
She's
like
still
she
a babe.
looked. Nothing like she looked now though.
No, but like I don't think that like, and I don't think she was meant to like wow people. Like she was like that was more of a performance based, role than it was like I'm Marissa fucking Tomei and look at me kind of role. But like even like in the wrestler, I was like, oh wow, she's fucking like hot, and she's like what, like 40 something, like, and now like in Spider-Man, I'm like, Jesus Christ, she's still fucking hot. Like it's like she's got to be a gilf at this point, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You could look up in terms of the porn categories because now you're a MILF if you're like 22 in porn. Like it's ridiculous. But also a lot of
yeah.
those with plastic surgery look a lot older. But anyway, May was great in this.
Never thought we'd talk about porn.
That got real
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
That got deep.
that is
Just in case you're wondering what Pat and I do when we're not watching movies, you know.
Yeah,
What is the age limit of a GILF?
I don't know.
I
But
was
in
about
this,
to Google
I
that
like
for a
how-
second, like, but then I stopped because I realized it was just ridiculous.
That's personal research for later, private research. I like how, because at the end of Homecoming, May sees Peter in a suit. I like how they kind of skipped over. I think it was better that they took care of that off screen for her to be okay with it now,
Yeah.
and like she's all about it. She's so proud of him and everything, while still being worried for him as basically his mom at this point,
Right.
raising him from such a young age. I like how they took care of that off screen.
Yeah, well, because
Because it also just would have slowed down the movie, and it
Exactly.
didn't matter how it happened.
and Aunt May in some sort of fashion always figures out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Well, she knew in the Raimi trilogy.
Yeah, she knew.
like
in the,
I think
pretty
even-
early on,
even-
she just
even
never.
in the
He
Amazing
told
Spider-Man
her.
trilogy.
He told her in.
No, she
second one?
knew.
She figured out.
She knew.
The second
yeah, they don't out. They never out.
She never brought it up to
Yeah.
him, but she admitted that she knew.
Like she didn't admit it, but like it's said without being said that she knows. It's
Well,
kind
yeah,
of-
she subtly said it. Like she
She
didn't so.
hinted at it.
She didn't go. I know you're Spider-Man.
Like she didn't
I
wink
think
at the camera.
it was the part when she was moving out of her house and the kid was
grabbed
helping.
the kid the
and,
box of
and,
comics or
and,
something.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
she
remember
looked
that.
at him and she was like, "The city needs Spider-Man," and looked at him and it was like,
With like a
"We
look,
need
like
you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what like kind of and like that was what pissed me off about the Amazing Spider-Man trilogies, like Aunt May or the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movies, is that Aunt May is just so left in the dark. Like why is she there then? And like yeah, like in the Spider-Man comic books, like especially the early days, like Aunt May was definitely in the dark, like very ignorant to the situation. But I loved how like now like it's a thing that's being said that's not being said. That like she definitely knows. I mean, in the did you guys play Spider-Man for PS4?
The game she knows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she knows. Like she already knew all along.
didn't-
Yeah, I mean, we
tells
also
him.
see him. Was it 8 years in or something?
Yeah.
So if she didn't know for 8 years, then there's something wrong with her.
Right? Yeah. It's like it's either okay, you're either gay.
But
or
yeah,
you're
I think it's a
Spider-Man.
good- it's
like,
a-
what are you hiding from us? You know, like
I think it's a good idea for her to know. Like I liked it in the game, and I liked it in this.
I like and you know what? I think it serves the story better just for the sheer fact that like the only example you really need is Into the Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Aunt May in that movie kicks ass, and like. I'm all about Aunt May knowing that that's Peter Parker Spider-Man. I don't know if anybody has any objections to that.
No,
but
I
know.
agree.
I think that's.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
And it's going to play a huge role in the next movie now.
Yes.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we'll get into why that's those post credit scenes are
I
fucking
will
nuts, man.
admit though
Post-credits
that
scenes are
like a
amazing.
part of me likes the dynamic like in other Spider-Man stories where like Aunt May knows and Peter Parker thinks she might know, but like it's just never said. I like that, but like I get why in this movie it totally serves a story for Aunt May being involved. Like
I think in this
movie wouldn't be as good. I would admit.
in this
100%.
universe, so much shit has gone down.
Yeah.
That the fact that he's Spider-Man is probably like, oh, whatever. Like he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like we got snapped away and then came back
Yeah.
5 years later. Like, okay, you're Spider-Man. Whatever.
Which speaking of that, I like how
Blipped, not
The
slipped.
blip.
no, the blip was the comeback. Kevin Feige said the snap was when everybody
The
disappeared. The blip was
Okay.
the blip was them returning.
Yeah.
Yeah, he explained
I
it
didn't know
like,
that at all.
in an interview the other day. Yeah, the blip was the return.
Which they explained in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, which I liked.
I'm happy
That
they
video
took like
montage
that
is great.
2-3 minutes.
Yeah,
to, like,
that video montage. I love how shitty that they're gonna keep this going with like the school news is shitty. The shit version, the shit quality of the Vision footage that they used, and then the Getty images on a couple of those things. I thought I was dying laughing
It
at
was
that.
so authentic.
It
for,
was
like, a high school.
yeah.
Like it was
production.
total, like video and radio production. Well, now it's just video and audio production because fuck radio. But yeah, like it's just like those quality cameras from high school. It's like what? Like it's so it was kind of authentic in a way because I mean, but here's the thing: like it's shitty now. Like, but imagine if we had those level quality cameras when like we were in high school. Like it would have blew our minds. You
show
know?
of it went down. The only issue I have with the explanation of the blip was they went out of their way to show everybody disappearing when he snapped and then literally reappearing in the exact same spot 5 years later when the snap again. They never really went into detail what happened to like people who were driving or like in a plane. Like, did those people appear in the air and plummet? Did some
Definitely.
people appear in the middle of the street?
Yeah.
So I feel like the part with Feast did a good job at explaining people whose like spouses and stuff moved on.
Yeah.
But I feel like they didn't
And then when the teacher explained, he thought his girlfriend or his wife or whatever
Yeah.
got sucked
Got
away.
flipped.
She was just cheating.
Yeah.
That was fucking
Yeah.
hysterical. Dude, Martin Starr's character in this movie especially was hysterical. Such great comic relief for how pathetic he
JB
was.
Smooth, too.
JB
Oh,
Smooth
JB
was
Smooth was
awesome.
hysterical.
Dude,
Hysterical.
JB
Switchcraft.
Smooth should play
Switchcraft.
every fucking science teacher ever in every.
I don't even
type
think
of
he was
movie.
a science teacher. I think he just went on the trip as another chaperone.
I thought he was. I thought he said he. No, because
Yeah,
he
he
said
said he
as
was
a man
a
of
science-
science.
Oh,
this is
okay.
witches,
So
you know.
yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
saying witches.
Yeah, witches.
So fucking funny.
Yeah, and like actually, like I forgot how much of a comedy the Homecoming was too, because like there's like Hannibal Buress has such a funny line in that movie. Like, so I'm pretty sure he's like an enemy of the country now, but like when he's talking about Captain America
Yeah.
in school,
He's a war criminal.
he's a war. Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he's a war
Yeah.
criminal. Dude, like there's like the Marvel movies are always known to have like comedy and everything, but like. As with the exception of Thor Ragnarok, like the Spider-Man movies have had some of the best comedic timing, like out of any of the movies. Like Thor Ragnarok, you can't.
That's because like Spider-Man in the comics,
It's
he himself is
authentic for
very
his
funny.
character, yeah.
It's very and like a lot of the his dialogue with his villains is always so
Oh
fucking funny.
yeah, he always like kind
And like he's always in a funny situation that like sucks for him or is awkward, but it's Spider-Man is one of the funniest comic book characters. And I think that it played so well in this. In almost, every I don't think that there were any jokes that
the Tom
didn't
Holland
land.
character, even from Civil War, when they were in the airport battle and
Yeah.
like, he's fighting Falcon. He's like, I don't know if you've ever been in a fight before. There's usually not this much
Yeah.
talking, but that's Spider-Man. He does that in all the comics.
Yeah, he always talks during a fight. It's fun. Like it's funny too, because like you especially notice it when he teams up with other characters, like
Wolverine.
Like Wolverine,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like Wolverine, like is like always snarling, like just like I don't.
And that's why Spider-Man and Deadpool work so well together in the comics. And it's funny because in that relationship, Peter's the more serious one out of them, even though he's not serious.
Right. I love the dialogue of them when they walk out of like the like Batman v Superman movie, but like in the Marvel universe, and they're just like bitching like that wasn't even close to how they were supposed to be. Like, and they're just
Yeah, I think Scott Aukerman wrote that.
yeah, it was yeah. I think
And Paul
you're
Scheer.
right. And it was just like it's Spider-Man and Deadpool walking out of Batman v Superman, just bitching about the movie. Like,
That's so funny.
That's why Tom Holland's so great, because
He is the best Spider-Man.
like Tobey Maguire played a good Peter Parker. He was like shy. He was like to himself.
like stereotypical
yes.
geek.
yeah.
Andrew Garfield played an excellent Spider-Man. He was
Bad Peter
he was-
Parker.
He was funny,
Yeah.
but terrible Peter Parker.
I don't think that's his fault though. I think that was the writing.
Yeah, but that's why Tom Holland he's perfect at
He's the
Peter
perfect
Parker,
blend.
Yeah.
and he's excellent as Spider-Man.
Like with my main criticism with the Andrew Garfield Peter Parker is like it's the most non Peter Parker I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would never imagine like Peter Parker like kicking up his skateboard and like throwing his hood on and being like I'm out of here.
Yeah, like
you
fucking
know?
punk rock. And
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah.
dude, right? Like that.
He wasn't nerdy at all. It just
No.
it wasn't.
Yeah,
Peter
he was
Parker.
only nerdy when it served the story when he like creates his like web shooters, and I was like, okay, like this is the last fucking kid I would ever imagine to make web shooters in his room. Like I would imagine like him playing guitar and like listening to the actor. Like, yeah, not like Tom Holland. Like even I'll say this, like even in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, like yeah, it might not be exactly what everyone wanted with Peter Parker and Spider-Man, but it's a really damn good attempt, especially for a movie from like 2002 to 2006 or 7 or whenever they all came out. But like
Andrew Garfield also didn't have the benefit of the James Franco character either.
Oh,
Who
yeah.
kind of helped sell the nerd factor.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas like it's like the total like opposite. Yeah. Of like, especially and like Tobey Maguire still looks nerdy. He just looks nerdy in 35.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think they did a fantastic job with Peter, and I think that with Mysterio, the backstory they came up with, like that fraud of a backstory, was perfect. Especially when he goes, "Oh, you're on Earth 616." It's a
Love
very
that.
great. I mean, it's not the
Yeah.
first 616 reference in this. I mean, they did it in. Well, it was a deleted scene, I think, for the Avengers, or it was in
Dark World,
The Dark
right?
World, I
Dark
think,
World.
when Selvig is at the mental institution and
Yeah.
he draws Earth 616, and that, I mean, there's always subtle references to it. But then when he said he's from Earth 833, was great because that's Spider-Man UK's Earth, and they make a joke about a UK Spider-Man in this.
Yeah. The Night Monkey.
The Night Monkey. But
Yes.
like before that even happens, Ned like says, "Oh, Spider-Man UK" or something. But Night Monkey, that was great. That stealth suit was sweet, and just like I think that, and then the best part about Mysterio, I think, well, one of Jake Gyllenhaal's shining moments in this, is the instant that he showed, like after he got Edith and Peter
got
left,
the glasses at the bar.
when he turned on a dime like that. I mean, it was so subtle on his part, like just the change in his face, and then the music that they put on top of it. That was so
Like,
fucking
the
well
room
done.
disintegrating.
Oh my god, that was so fucking well done.
Jake Gyllenhaal. I'll tell you this, I understand the criticism of Marvel's like villain problem like beforehand, but the past like 3 or 4 years, like their villains have been fucking.
They really
good.
turned their shit around.
Yeah, really. Especially like with Spider-Man: Homecoming, like. Vulture. I don't know. Like, if you said you like Vulture, do you like Vulture better than Mysterio or no?
No, I liked Mysterio more.
Okay. Well, I will tell you this. Like my point being was that it's actually debatable between those two movies, like who you like more. I definitely like Mysterio way more too.
That's not to say Vulture was bad.
No,
he was
Vulture was great.
Yeah.
And as of, the two Spider-Man villains that they've done really weren't major Spider-Man villains, which I loved. Mysterio
Yeah.
and Vulture,
They're not big
they're
names.
like B-listers.
They're not. Well, to Spider-Man fans, they mean a lot, but they're not.
Well, in the
they're
general-
not the box office draw.
Not on the level of Venom or Green Goblin.
No,
Those are
exactly.
his,
Yes.
those are his nemesis right there.
Yeah. You could probably. There's actually probably a few other villains too that would like really draw in like dollars, like if you want to put it in that, like for lack of a better word.
Yeah, but they're not like the two biggest names. Is like but like their execution has been.
But like, and what I loved about Jake Gyllenhaal as Quentin Beck Mysterio was that like it was one of the like Killmonger was a great villain, but he's definitely different from the comics. I was never into Black Panther comics growing up, so like I wasn't super attached to that villain. Like I didn't care about the changes that much, but like I guess no one else did either because everyone liked that fucking movie on the planet. I thought it was, which I'm not complaining. I fucking love Black Panther too. But like Mysterio, just like Spider-Man, like it felt like a natural update to the character from what he is. I mean, Mysterio in the comics is very dangerous. Mysterio is the one that made Logan kill the X-Men. He doesn't have superpowers, but his intellect,
His special effects ability is off the chain.
Exactly the special effects, his intellect, and then on top of that,
They gave him so much credit in Old Man Logan too.
Yeah.
'Cause even when Logan was explaining it to Hawkeye, he's like, even my sense of smell was completely thrown off.
right, yeah.
well, and they show that in this, like Peter's spider sense is all over
Yeah.
the place until the end when he finally, or the Peter Tingle, excuse me, when he finally like figures out
name.
how to focus it when he's finally going like the final fight with him. It showed that he changes everything. Like he really messed with all your senses in this, and I think that the way that they used those drones was such a smart idea.
So
Bring to it,
awesome.
and especially to
It worked.
It worked perfectly, and just the fact that they were doing real damage, but masking it and showing him in a different spot than he completely was in. he had that backup suit that he was wearing while controlling everything with that dome. I thought the way that they used those drones was brilliant, to have them do that and all the damage effects and everything.
Yeah.
Especially once he got full control of the Stark drones with Edith. That was such a smart way for them to go about how he handles all the special effects and his like fake outs and everything.
That was my biggest concern going into not really concern. So like when they showed the first trailer and they showed Mysterio being good,
Yeah.
90% of me was like he's gonna turn out to be the villain. 10% of me was like, okay, I know Mysterio from the comics. He's special effects. Special effects can't do the elementals like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, how are they gonna spin
The actual
this?
legit damage that he was
So
doing.
I was like,
yeah.
oh, maybe he actually is a good guy and the elementals are real. And the way they spun it with the visualization, the drones barf from what was that, Civil War?
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, it was the reveal was like that was an oh shit moment. Like,
Yeah.
wow, they got me. They
And
got
that
me.
was done so fucking well. They really nailed like the turn. in
Yeah,
this.
and I think that's like another testament to like how good the movie, especially that scene in general, where like where you're talking about where he does the quick turn and then like everything starts being shown for what it really is in the bar. Like just that just his acting in general in there was great. And it's cool. Like I kind of believe it though that I can buy. Like granted, like now obviously it doesn't exist on this planet, at least not yet. Like drones and like holograms on that type of level, but like it's not hard for me to buy because if he's really a special effects master, and you look at like the evolution of Hollywood, like when Mysterio came out, he was doing special effects that were cutting edge of the '60s, like tricking people like that. And now like people in 2019 are we're 12 years away from Michael Bay's Transformers, which blew our minds. So like it's got to evolve to a certain extent where people will actually believe it. And yeah,
And the modernization of it is what like really sold it.
Yeah, exactly. They had to modernize it. It's
Yeah.
It could.
And he's in 2023 in a world where Tony Stark made an Iron Man suit in a fucking desert cave.
Yeah.
And like the advancements in the technology in this, especially if they all worked for Stark Tech, which was the most advanced company.
Yeah. I just think my
how-
favorite thing, like that, what's going to happen 5 years in the future is like everyone's going to have a Sony phone. Like, yeah,
Still.
yeah.
Still. Because everybody has them now.
Yeah, but I will. Okay, that was a joke, but I will say this: like, their phones actually aren't bad. No one just fucking buys them. Like, so like it's just kind of awkward when you see like, like look at my Xperia.
Well, that's like in The Amazing Spider-Man. He had Sony phones, and then he was using Internet Explorer and Bing.
Yeah.
Like nobody fucking would do that. That's how
Right.
I know he wasn't a real genius.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Like, get a Sony TV on there, and then I'll fucking believe you. All right.
Yeah.
Nobody uses Bing.
No.
No, and you know what's funny? Because like my job that I will not explain as of right now uses fucking Bing, like as their default thing.
I had a virus on my computer yesterday that reverted my Google search to Bing, and it pissed me off so much I bought Norton Antivirus because that's how much I refuse to use Bing.
Yeah,
Anyway, getting into this, and I like how, I love what they did with Ned, him and Betty, because they have a relationship in the comics, and I love how it was a whole airplane ride that like got them together from a full mistake, and then like by the end of the trip they broke up, or even before the end of the trip, like when they land back home,
Land back in
and then it's like two airline rides changed the whole entire relationship. But the way like the 8-hour trip, and he's like, yeah, when you're in love, Peter, like after the whole bachelors in the UK
Right.
in Europe thing was fucking hysterical in this. So I love what they did with him and how he didn't need to be the guy in the chair. But it provided a lot of comedy to this. I still think the funniest line in the entire MCU is when the teacher finds him as he's doing the guy in the chair at the end of Homecoming.
Yeah.
He goes, "I was watching porn." I still think that's probably the funniest line in the MCU. It's a golden line right there.
yeah, and like they kind of like they don't revisit it, but they revisit the idea when Happy lands in the
Yeah.
Netherlands, and like was it the Netherlands that they were in?
It was another.
And, like that tulip field. He's like, Happy, say something where like only you would know.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, remember that one time you rented that adult video, but I like it doesn't say it's an adult video, but I knew the price, and like he's like, all right, shut up. Because he's 16. Of course he's gonna watch fucking porn. Like,
Yeah.
what 16-year-old boy like didn't fucking watch porn every day? Like, Jesus Christ.
I don't know. Couldn't tell you. And like I like how they brought MJ in and how she found that drone piece. And like when they first showed it off, I thought, and he grabs for it, and he didn't think twice about it. Like when he went to go swing and it hit the drone, he didn't really think twice about it. And then MJ was smart enough to grab that while she
Yes.
was there. And I liked how, what'd she say? She was like 60-something% sure he was Spider-Man.
67%.
67%.
I did see it today again. I will. So
Did you?
I have a lot fresh in my memory.
Sick invite. I would have gone. Anyway, fuck you. But anyway,
I saw it in the morning. So
yeah, that's all right.
like
How like
you
she
were-
kind of deduced it, and then when he full out outright admits it to her was so well done too, and like it's not a problem that he had revealed his identity to her. I think it clearly advanced their relationship, literally brought them into a full relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But it enhanced their full dynamic and just brought in more help when he needed it, and made their presence throughout the rest of the movie more important.
Are you sure? Are you sure you're Spider-Man? Because like this isn't funny. Like
Yeah.
when she said that, I was like, okay, like it's just like I think the range of the actors from them to go from like joking to like kind of serious to really serious back to joking, like there's a lot of range. There's so much
Yeah.
range to deal with here.
And then when Ned finds out that she found out that he's Spider-Man, he's like, oh, yeah, I was first.
Yeah.
But he tried to cover for Peter with the suit. He goes, oh, that's a cool costume.
Are you're an FOS now, friend
Yeah.
of Spider-Man.
Yeah, like I knew first. It's not a big deal, but yeah, like I knew first. I was like the first person. No, it's not a big deal. Well, I guess it was the second. 'Cause Tony
Oh,
was white,
also
too.
fuck Brad. That guy sucks. Like
That was hysterical.
Brad-
Yeah.
That was
pretty
so
funny.
funny, though.
Hysterical.
yeah,
But, dude, when he took the picture of him changing and like,
what a scumbag.
Scumbag.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was like, what a tool.
But then they're all ratting on him at the end, like, who takes pictures of somebody in the bathroom? Like, what the fuck?
if we were at a party
teacher
and you
walks
walked
up.
in on me like fucking some girl and like you took a picture, I'd be like, delete that, you asshole. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You know?
yeah, that
It's like,
was
no, I gotta go shout MJ.
Yeah.
that was so fucking funny.
piece of shit, you know?
And then, of course, we got to talk about early Nick Fury and Maria Hill. I love how, we see why at the end he was the way he was. But when they're in that underground bunker in Venice, or at the time that they're supposed to be in Venice, I don't know if the bunker was actually in Venice itself. And he's like, Peter's like, what about Thor or where else? And then he says,
Marvel.
and then he said Doctor Strange, and then he says Captain Marvel, and he's like, don't invoke her name. It is like a good Nick Fury line, but it makes it so much better at the end with what we find out.
Yeah.
And then he's like, bitch, please, you've been to space. Even though that was in the trailer, that was still just as funny. And it's like such a Sam Jackson response.
Yeah, it is. And another line that was in the trailer. It was in the trailer, they dubbed it with a different word because he says dickweed. Or he's like we're Flash Thompson's just like praising Spider-Man. You know, he's like Spider-Man could probably take him, and he goes, oh, he inspires me to be a better person. He goes, like Peter's like, what's up, dickweed? or calls him either dickweed or dickwad.
Yeah.
Both are just as funny.
Yeah. Again, that's just humor being done well in this.
Yeah, and I actually, you know what? Actually, speaking of modern updates, I liked how they updated Flash Thompson too.
I like
actually.
Flash
I
Thompson.
hated it.
Oh,
I
really?
hated it. Why? Why make him like the intellectual bully?
Because that's the school that he goes to. So like, whereas Peter and like when he like. But Peter, like a lot of times in the comic books, like when he's at a high school, he's
just
at
at a
public
general high
He's
school,
at a general
yeah.
public high school, so like it makes sense for Flash to be like a big dumb bully. But like Peter's at a school like specific for like science. So like
Is he? Do they ever?
yeah. So like they acknowledge like it's
Oh, I
that's
didn't
how
know that.
yeah.
All right, that makes more sense.
It's the
So-
Midtown School of Science and Technology.
So he's instead of being a physical
okay.
bully, he's an intellectual bully.
I never caught on to that.
Yeah.
That makes so much more sense.
Right.
yeah, that's why he is the way
Okay.
he is. And that's why like even Ned's like smart, because Ned in the comics he's not smart. He's not a smart
Yeah.
guy, and he becomes the Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin, yeah.
So the updated version of that, it does make sense. So that's why I do like it. It doesn't really bother me. I mean, even if he wasn't Flash Thompson, if he was just some other created character for this, Tony Revolori is great in the way that they're portraying
Yeah, I
Flash
like
in
it.
this, and then how they kind of have like a little sad part for him at the end. It's like, oh, mother
I
couldn't
feel,
come.
I feel like there's significant. There's got to be some type of significance for that.
Yeah, because they did that thing when they're on the bus and Peter puts on the Edith glasses and he's like shows everyone text.
Yeah.
Flash said something like, "Mom, I haven't heard from you in days" or whatever.
Yeah.
And then at the end, when they finally get back to the U.S.,
Yeah.
like some random driver picks him up and like, "Oh, mother couldn't make
Well,
it."
I think that's the reason that he's a bully, is because his home life sucks,
Right,
And he has nobody there, so he
I
has to
thought they
take
were-
it out
yeah,
on
you thought
others.
they
You
were
have
going
Peter
somewhere with this.
who's poor.
It could be a
But-
tragic background.
I could
but
see
at the same
them
time, I
because-
don't know.
I'm thinking
because
maybe
he
it
does
ties
Venom,
into-
right?
Ties into one of the
He's like the
later.
fourth
he,
Venom,
he
yeah.
becomes Agent Venom. He becomes good. But
Oh,
that's when they manipulate the Venom symbiote to be good.
I see.
But like Flash and Peter Parker like become really great friends later on in life, actually, like in the comics. So like, which is great because it's good storytelling because you have like the bully and like the kid that's a nerd, but the kid that's a nerd can legitimately like fucking level Flash Thompson
Is
out
the
at any
strongest
time.
human.
Yeah, it's and I think Flash I think does eventually. Well, everyone in the world eventually finds out that Peter Parker's Spider-Man.
Well, now, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the comics, the way that they handle it between Flash and him finding out Peter is Spider-Man, I thought was really well done.
I don't remember exactly how it went down.
It was in Civil War.
Yeah.
It was in Civil War.
It was actually like a very well done moment.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be the same in this. I mean, I want to see. I hope that the next movie picks up with the post credit scene, his identity
Yeah.
being revealed, and I want to see Flash's reaction to it.
Right, but like
Specifically because of the scene that you mentioned, where
Yeah.
he's praising Spider-Man and he calls Peter a dickwad.
right, and I kind of like hope like that where we see like a little snippets of like his relationship with his parents and how it's like clearly he's fucking rich, but it's clearly not like
He doesn't have a good home.
he doesn't have a good home life. And I kind of want to see that for them to be the catalyst for him and Peter to start being friends because that's a good friendship in the comics. In Spider-Man is Flash and Peter, like Flash and Spider-Man. I think when Flash is on the run when he's framed for murder, I think it's like it's a 1980s like Amazing Spider-Man storyline. I think like the Hobgoblin's involved in some shit. I had the comic at home. Don't ask me what it is right now. I haven't read it in years, but like. Flash is like inspired by Spider-Man to like prove his innocence, and he like remember like he's like and he also like when he's like thinking about Spider-Man, he's thinking about his football coach and like in that instance. So like
And then as a result of that, he does become a better person. He signs up for the army, loses his legs,
Yeah.
but then becomes Agent Venom to do good, and then joins the Guardians
and
of the
Agent
Galaxy
Venom's
at one point.
badass too.
He is. I love his design too.
Yeah,
in that.
it's cool.
We're not going to see that ever, which is fine.
That's okay.
I don't need to see it.
There's
it's not something I
certain
need to see.
things that I don't. Think
And if
need to
Sony
happen.
handles it, then I don't want it.
Wait, what'd you say?
And if Sony handles it, I really
Thank
don't
God
want
they're
it.
not getting it back because I was reading today that there's a stipulation in the contract.
It has to make $1
between
billion.
Marvel and Sony. Yeah, if it didn't make $1 billion, they would have got the third movie. But I think it's going to pass that.
It already made almost $605 million in a week. It's going to make $1 billion. It has to.
I will
It's so
say
good.
this though, like people shit on Sony for like some of the movies they release, but like they're not really like they don't release stuff. They release just as much bad shit as any other studio. I think it's just more prevalently known, like when they do it.
I think because what
Well, and they
when
also
you
are
start
like
to touch-
blowing like big names like Spider-Man and Venom, and you're
Yeah.
touching some of the most popular characters
Yeah.
in the entire world that like
And to be-
everybody knows who Spider-Man
yeah.
is.
To be fair, most of their Spider-Man outings have been very good. You know, like one,
Well,
two.
okay.
1 and 2 were good.
1 and 2 were good.
3 was terrible.
Three's not good. Amazing Spider-Man 1's good. Amazing
like-
Spider-Man 2 sucks.
Sucks.
God awful because they made the same mistake,
Yeah.
same exact fucking mistake that they made in 3. The
And
reason
then we're
3
just-
sucked was because you tried to go with 17 different villains.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
Well, and
And
Venom
then
was
Amazing
trash.
Spider-Man 2, you're like, oh, it failed the first time, but it should work
Yeah.
out now.
So like you
Yeah.
kind of have a bad middle period.
And they did those villains even worse than.
You kind of have a bad middle period with the Spider-Man film, like film series, but then like it not only did it just take off with Homecoming, it
Well, the thing is with Homecoming and Far From Home, the reason that they're good is because Marvel casts it, Marvel writes the stories.
Yeah.
They pick John Watts. Sony just gets the money.
So I think it's
they
the
all,
money
but they all,
and-
well, they also fund it too.
Do they? All right. Well,
Yeah,
still,
it's,
all
it's,
right.
it's Sony.
Okay, so
studio,
they don't
yeah.
have creative control.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
that's why they're
I'm
good.
not disagreeing with that, but here's the thing though. I mean, like you can
Look
definitely
at it. Sony just released the new Men in Black. That fucking bombed.
yeah,
for good reason.
But then there was also Into the Spider-Verse, which has
True.
nothing
but
to
that's
do with
Sony.
MCU.
Sony Animated Studios is different. It's a different operation.
Well, yeah, but like they're still the Emoji Movie. Like, I'm just saying, like, it's just funny that like Sony's known for like just like putting out like box office bombs, but like I don't think they do it just as much as any other studio. I think it's because they just fucking add like I just see ads for Sony movies all
And
the
they do
fucking
it
time.
like their big bombs are like so it's like all in one year.
Yeah.
And then it's the biggest movies that they're doing of the
Yeah,
year.
but then they'll
Bomb,
make
bomb, bomb.
fucking an insane amount of money off one movie.
Yeah,
Like Venom.
like Venom.
Yeah.
Yeah. The part where Peter's in jail in the Netherlands, like those guys are also combat, and he just opens it up, and then the guy just closes it back down. It was so funny. Just
They
like
make them
talk-
seem like the nicest
the nicest
people. In the
people.
world.
Yeah.
Can I borrow your cell phone? I'm like, yeah, you go.
I thought that the scene on the plane where he's synthesizing the suit
That was
was
pretty
awesome.
cool.
First of all, that suit is fucking amazing. The black and red suit that he went with. But what I really loved was when he was picking the design of the suits, there was nod to other suits, including the original Iron
It
Spider
happened
costume.
so fast. I saw it originally, but then I want to go see it again just so
Yeah.
I can.
I want somebody to release the shot of it, but
Exactly,
it was
yeah.
the original Iron Spider design. There was one of the armored suits was one of the designs, I think, and then somebody said that they saw the Spider-Man PS4 design in it.
Yes.
I heard that too.
Was that? But I didn't notice it at
was
first.
like
I
all
saw
the
I saw the
way on
Iron
the
Spider
left.
one. And I was like, holy shit!
I didn't notice it my second time, and I was actually looking for it. So if
I think that was the first suit I noticed, the PS4 one.
The first one
Yeah,
I
I
noticed was the Iron
noticed the Iron
Spider.
Spider suit, too.
I was like, yo, that's fucking yeah.
yeah.
But I liked how they showed that and how he had that technology to do it right there. Was great.
And it was definitely Tony Stark esque for like how he like moves through the like and like.
Oh, wait,
starts
the way he was like
designing.
designing, picking all the pieces of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was great. There was just so many.
And Happy's reaction at that point was perfect. It's like you said, he started playing with the hologram the same way that Tony Stark did, and he like puts on Back in Black.
Yeah,
I
happiness
love Led
was great.
Zeppelin. Yeah.
It's so funny. And
But
then
the scene before that was the big Mysterio reveal. Where
Yeah.
he fucked with him so
that was
bad.
incredible. That
That
was
was
so
just-
fucking good.
So yeah, Nick Fury picks him up at the hotel, right?
He picks him up at the train station.
The train station. He brings
So
him.
wait, this is after MJ shows him the projector,
Right.
with the cyclone phase.
Yes.
Okay.
He gave him Edith already.
Yes.
Hmm.
And then he picks him up. I'm like, I need to talk to you. He takes him to a building,
Yeah, to some warehouse.
and then he gets shot.
Yes.
And then that's when the entire building not crumbles, but it gets revealed that it's just
It's just a
fucking
rundown
building.
factory building.
And then he just
And then it wasn't really Nick Fury. And then the
fucks with
psychological
him
trip that he
so
sends him through
bad.
was so good. Like when he has the Iron Man suit come out, it's a skeleton in there, and all the different graves that were there and everything, and then just the different suits he had. Dude, that was, and it was, some of those shots were taken from the comics.
Yeah.
Like with all the glass falling down, all the everything. That was,
It was-
amazing.
yeah.
That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
that was hands down like that minute. It was very short, but it felt
Yeah.
so long because it was so amazing. That minute and a half may visually be one of my favorite parts of all. What's it? 23 movies from the
Yeah.
MCU. Just so well done because they made the big reveal about Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
How he can do all of this, and it's like, oh shit, that's actually really cool. And comic book fans are like, he's all smoke and mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, how far can this go? And like, I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna have to wait for the end, and then like 5 minutes later, he terrorizes him.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely
he
terrorized
basically
him.
broke him.
Yeah,
I thought that was
Did
incredible.
break him. He hit him with a train.
Yeah, true. And just shows Spider-Man's that fucking strong. He could survive getting
And
hit
he-
by a full speed train.
And it didn't look like a subway train from
No,
like New
it
York
didn't.
City. Like that looked like a fucking bullet train.
Yeah.
Like just fucking. It comes so fast. But it really does though, because like once Peter realizes like he's in reality, he's back to reality. Dude, that fucking train. It made me jump even the
Yep.
second time I saw it. I was
Yeah.
like, oh shit,
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. And then, of course, the final battle when he's taking care of that. And then Beck fully ups, like, having control of Edith and those drones, and he makes up the damage, like, so much. And even the head scientist that was doing it was like, it's going to result in a lot of casualties. He goes, sometimes you got to do it.
Yeah.
People are going to be happier with this. And, like, how he does want to become such a famous hero.
yeah. Because
And-
he kept saying, he's like, we need an Avengers level threat,
Yeah.
and that's what he kept saying. And it's like an Avengers level threat would kill hundreds to thousands.
Yeah, and how he didn't give a shit, and I thought that was so well done. And then like their final fight, and he's still pulling off the tricks, but then when he finally focuses his spider sense to figure out where Beck actually is and Alder Jones, and the way he's taking it down, going into the illusion, like behind it, when he like realizes how he can glitch it, and the way he's using his webs like that, and he's using the different webs into it. So well done.
Yeah.
And their final confrontation, I thought was so well done. And like when he catches the gun,
That was cool.
that was awesome.
And one thing I like about these movies too is, and the Sam Raimi movies don't do it that well. I shouldn't say don't do it that well. They don't really do it at all. Like not that I can remember. With a few scenes here and there. And the Amazing Spider-Man, like to its credit, like both movies portray it really well. Like how strong and how powerful Peter Parker actually is.
In the comics, he's the strongest human.
Yeah, like if you can even really call him human at that point. Like, dude, here's the thing. Like, remember in Spider-Man: Homecoming, like when he has that train or the boat, and he's like bringing them both.
Big ass ferry.
That's like I'm pretty like I saw someone do, like I saw someone break it down with math on YouTube. That's like 1,000 pounds on each side or some shit. Like. That's it. Like that makes you the strongest thing ever in the Marvel universe. And
I like even before that. I mean, that's more impressive. But when he's fighting Cap at the airport and that massive like terminal tunnel falls on him.
Yeah, and he's
like, holding it.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah,
this is heavy.
with like no issue at all.
And he impressed Cap.
What was even at the end of Homecoming, after Vulture kind of tricks him in that warehouse, takes out all the columns, and pretty much the building collapses.
Yeah, an
on him.
entire cement building
He
falls
lifts
on him.
up the building to get out.
Again, another thing from the comics.
I would argue that Spider-Man is probably just as strong as Captain Marvel. I would say, like, or like in that ballpark. Like, there's
That might be a stretch,
I
don't
don't
know,
think
man.
so.
Might be a
I don't think so.
especially after with
And
that
not-
scene in Endgame.
Yeah.
That'd be hard to.
I
sell
guess
that one.
so, but like Captain Marvel also has other powers surrounding her super strength that help her, like emphasize that she can fly through a spaceship and do that.
True, but
Like, she
I
has,
still
like, she has, like, plasma
he's
blast.
She
second.
went
He's second.
toe-to-toe with Thanos.
He's
Was
second.
winning.
He's second.
I don't know. Like,
But she's not technically considered. Is she human? Is she considered human?
she was born human.
Yeah.
Like,
But isn't she part Kree?
No, she was experimenting.
No,
on
she was
that.
experimented by the
Okay.
Kree. She got her powers from Kree technology.
God damn it, Spider-Man's strong. All right, whatever.
No, he is. He's
know.
the second strongest character in the MCU. I would
That's
say.
okay. You just don't like it. I get it.
Well, maybe third after Thor.
Yeah, that's true. Thor is definitely stronger than Spider-Man. So okay, I'll give Spider-Man a.
But he's
strong
also
third.
like a demigod, so
Yeah, I'll definitely. Okay, so like I'll
strictly
say,
human,
Yeah.
non-demigods. He's the second strongest.
right.
So it's Captain Marvel then Spider-Man.
Okay, sure.
Are we really discounting the Hulk on that one?
Dude, I don't know. I think that because
Oh,
he's
no.
Professor Hulk now, what made the Hulk so strong was his rage.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't even think about the Hulk. The Hulk is definitely
That's
stronger
what
than
I thought we
Spider-Man.
were
yeah,
going with that.
yeah. Okay, no. So I would say like Thor is stronger than Hulk. Hulk is stronger than Spider-Man.
All right. Well, fine.
Your entire argument collapsed on itself from this beginning. You started off, you're like,
Yeah.
Spider-Man is the strongest human. Now you're like, he may be like bottom 10.
No, yeah. I mean, like once you put some thought into it, like yeah. But still, he's like my point still stands that he's incredibly strong, despite like I kind of corrected myself like 4 or 5 times there.
He's superhumanly strong.
Exactly.
I wouldn't. Yeah, he's
And-
stronger than Iron
Most.
Man without the suit. He's stronger than
Captain America.
He's fucking stronger than Damien. I'll tell you that. All right.
So is my fucking 2-year-old nephew. Or cousin, whatever the fuck he is. Anyway,
Pat doesn't care about his family.
I don't.
He's
That's clearly...
he's 2 years old and he's stronger than him.
Yeah, exactly. I love that the way that this movie wrapped up, too. I think it was a great ending, even before the mid-credit and post-credit scenes.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Peter and MJ are together. I really like the way that they've portrayed MJ and that Zendaya has done. I think she's done a great job with it.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And then how, like, when she fully admits, like, why she acts the way she does was a great reveal. And the way that Zendaya has portrayed her is great. And then, like, at the end, when you see a more... When they first kiss on the bridge, that was so fucking funny. Like, the
Well,
way
it
they
was
did it...
Such a first kiss
It
moment.
was such a first, like,
Yeah.
nerdy kid kiss. But I thought that was, like... That was funny. That was, again, well done. I'm just waiting for her to call him Tiger in the next one.
I thought it was gonna happen. I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
Tiger's like, I feel like Tiger's what you start calling somebody after you blow him. You know? Like,
So how many dudes do you call Tiger now? A
don't
dozen?
So that's That's the level.
Is
I
that-
just feel like
It's good to know.
Yeah,
It's good to
I'm
know
not
where
saying
it
I know
lies.
for a fact. I just feel like there's definitely something's got to happen before a chick starts calling you Tiger. Like, think about it.
All right. Well,
Like, why else would you call them Tiger? You
I don't know. In the Raimi trilogy, he gets called Tiger before,
The Raimi Chimney trilogy also has fucking organic web shooters. So
True.
He also did that weird dance in the middle of the street, so there's some weird shit going
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
there.
But anyway, I like the how she explained herself, and then their relationship at the end, how it's set up, and like he wants to take her web swing, and she fucking hates it. Which if I were her, I probably would too.
Made complete sense.
Makes complete
yeah,
sense.
fuck that, dude. I don't want to do that either. Like, unless I'm falling from a building, like, don't web swing with me. All right.
Like if I was Spider-Man, it would be fun. But if I was not Spider-Man and Spider-Man was web swinging me around, I'd be scared
Yeah.
shitless.
And it's so funny because the mid credit scene begins. She's like, "Never do that again."
Yeah. And I guess now we can move into the credit scenes.
Yes.
Unless there's anything else about the rest of the movie either of you want to.
I don't know.
Any of you want to bring up?
I don't have anything else to say right now.
Okay.
Back to you later.
Oh, one last thing. Happy when he thought he like saved the day and like the code he was using for Fury. Well done. And then especially when he gets to the post-credit scene, it reveals. So that mid-credit scene, when they reveal that Beck filmed the whole thing and the way he manipulated that footage, and it made sense when you see that scientist after Beck gets killed. He takes that flash drive. It was video of that happening, and the way that he edited it was smart. Was very well done. And then the reveal, like, first of all, I did not expect him to reveal his identity. His identity get
either.
revealed.
First of
That
all,
was great.
J.K. Simmons is J. Jonah Jameson.
I was going to get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But I did not expect him to reveal his identity. But when they showed J. Jonah Jameson as fucking Alex Jones of this world, just like he is in Spider-Man PS4,
Yeah.
which is a great idea, as soon as he showed up on screen, that was so fucking hype.
But what
I don't
about the
understand.
print media?
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, exactly.
What's that?
Right? Yeah, great question.
But I thought, oh, dude, I can't believe that was such. I'm so happy they got him back.
I'm sorry. Apparently, they did that like a month ago. Like they always
Yeah.
knew they were gonna do it, but they were like, we have to keep this so secret. That apparently they filmed that scene like a month ago.
Yeah, I'm sure that Tom Holland didn't know until the premiere because they could have just had him react like, okay, the newscaster just revealed your identity, and then they just waited and they filmed J.K. Simmons doing it. Oh my! I was so happy they fucking got him back. That was awesome. I can't wait for his Alex Jones S thing because that's one of my favorite things about Spider-Man PS4. How he's like even more off the rails. He's like a mass conspiracy theorist. And I hope now that he's crazy and we have Mark Gargan, that for the next Spider-Man, maybe he'll fund
You mean Matt Gargan?
Matt Gargan. He'll fund the Scorpion Project. It's a possibility now. And they got some Sinister Six moments going on, characters in here.
Well, the Sony's
Do you
always wanted
think
to do
they're
going
gonna
to
do Sinister Six?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
They have to.
They're
Because
definitely going to do
so
it.
right, we were talking about this before. They only have 3 movies, right? So
For now.
the next one's most likely going to be the last one. Spider-Man doesn't have any more cameos in any more movies. So does that mean he can't do any end credit scenes in any other movies? Probably, right?
The end credit scenes don't count, right?
They don't count towards the
contract
contract, to the actor's contract, but I don't know
Okay.
about the Sony contract.
Because they have Vulture, Scorpion, Shocker. Let's hypothetically say Mysterio stayed alive.
I think it's possible that
Which
he's
I
alive.
do-
I 100% think he's alive.
I
Yeah.
definitely-
95% he's not dead. They need 2 more characters, which they could easily do in a post-credit scene. But if they don't, I feel like they're gonna have to do another movie before doing Sinister Six.
I think in a post-credit scene, it would be foolish not to bring
You gotta
Norman
do
Osborn
Osborn.
or
Yeah.
Green Goblin into.
It would be
Yeah,
great.
They have to as
the
the
way
voice
the
actor.
MCU has taken over Vulture and Mysterio. It'd be foolish not to do Green Goblin.
Spider-Man 6 should be the Sinister Six. It's just
Spider-Man 6?
I would go see 6 of them.
I would want. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like that's like
You
like,
th-
and I'm not saying.
Oh,
that
because
to
you
be-
want it the next, just to introduce one more character.
I
at
want
a
them to
time.
introduce more because because there's 2 Spider-Man movies and then you have Civil War, the Avengers. Like
He did so. His contract
is up.
Was 3
Yeah.
solo movies and 3 appearances. Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame was his 3 appearances.
so he has one more movie
He's
left.
got 1 more movie.
I'm sure, but like
With
I
the
don't know.
amount of
Tom
money that
Holland's
they're
like
making, are they
22,
really-
and they're gonna hand him so much money.
Well, it's not his decision.
not- it's
no,
Sony.
The contract with Sony is
Yes.
up
Sony
after
would
the
be
next
foolish
Spider-Man movie.
Not to
Is what he's saying.
okay.
Tom Holland
Yeah,
has like probably like a 10
I was
movie deal.
assuming you were talking about Tom
Oh
Holland's
no,
contract.
no, I'm saying they gave
No,
they
Sony's
gave
contract
Marvel,
with Marvel.
They
Yeah.
gave Marvel. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. They gave Marvel the right to 3 solo movies and 3 appearances in other movies.
Gotcha.
So I would love to see 6 movies. Also, I would hate for them to do Green Goblin in like a Sinister Six movie without giving him his own movie.
yeah, that's
I
what I'm
think he
saying. Like,
definitely
Well, I think
deserves
that in
his own
Sinister
movie.
Six they can start him as the benefactor who brings it together.
right.
I think an end credit scene in either
Or you might
Black
not.
Panther 2 or Doctor Strange 2. I think the end credit scene is going to be the reveal that the Avengers Tower is now Oscorp, and you're going to see him.
Well, it's either going to be Oscorp or the Baxter Building. It has to be one of those two.
Right. But like also too, like the Green Goblin might not ever be in the series for a long time. Like the Green Goblin didn't come around until Peter was like in college, I want to say, or like even after that,
right after college.
like right
Yeah,
after
yeah.
college. Or, yeah.
Um,
or I mean, but there's well,
Gwen Stacy was still alive when he came around.
right. So I'm okay with them never doing the Green Goblin because they've already done it twice. And because the Sinister Six does not need the Green Goblin. The Sinister Six.
No, they don't.
The Amazing Spider-Man Green Goblin was god awful.
God-awful.
Absolutely
Stupidest.
terrible.
Yeah, and like
William Dafoe really wasn't that bad.
I liked
He
Willem
was-
I
Dafoe.
like
he was
him.
really good.
Yeah,
But
thought
I
he
will
was
say
great.
I'm so happy
It's
that the
definitely
way that they
cheesy.
used Michael
It
Keaton.
is. I mean, his whole costume was cheesy, but he
Michael
did the character
Keaton was
pretty
great as Vulture, but he would have been a sick Norman Osborn. He really would have been so
Yeah.
good as Norman Osborn. You know who they should get as Norman Osborn? Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, that would be great.
That would actually be great because he
well.
can play.
I
read-
take that seriously.
I read
I would.
apparently, apparently the guy that played the governor in The Walking Dead. Apparently they said they got him.
Well, he was also working with garbage material, so he probably could do well. But yeah, I hope they do a Sinister Six in under Marvel control.
Yes.
It makes so much sense with the end credit scene. That's exactly what happened in the comics. After the Civil War, when he revealed himself, Peter Parker as Spider-Man, that's exactly what happened. All his villains came together and went after him and his family.
Yeah,
And then they were shot, and it was actually a pretty good storyline.
I think that they have to do a Sinister Six. And the next movie is perfect for it to do it. And and Homecoming post-credit scene sets it up when Mac talks to Vulture. And he's like, so I heard you know his identity. It goes, no. And now it's going to set Vulture and Scorpion against each other, or Scorpion's going to go after him for lying to him.
Yeah.
And then they're both obviously going to get out of jail because characters break out of jail all the fucking time.
I mean, they're supervillains. That's what
It's
they
the
do.
easiest
and they're
thing
not
to
on the
get out.
raft. They're in, where are they, in Rikers or something? They weren't on the raft.
Right.
So it's going to be very easy for them to get out. And why would they not team up to take down Spider-Man, who ruined their lives?
Although they could easily do a Kraven the Hunter movie.
I want
That
love
would
to
be amazing.
See, I really do think that Kraven is a great character, and in this,
If they
his
do
brother
Kraven's life.
Chameleon is in this. He's that dude Dimitri.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
that's
That
Chameleon.
would be a sick post-credit scene in one of the movies, right? They reveal Osborn in like fucking Oscorp somewhere, and behind him you just see somebody chilling there with a sniper.
Actually, it would almost fit better into an after credit scene for Black Panther. He's already in Africa. Could
Yeah.
be hunting there.
That
A Black
would be-
Panther Spider-Man team-up movie.
But I really hope they do Kraven. Kraven's fucking sick.
Kraven-
I
Yeah,
love
Kraven the
Kraven.
Hunter is a
fucking
great
awesome.
character. Yeah.
I know. Now you got Chameleon
Could
in
you
this, so
imagine,
his brother's
Jason
definitely out there.
Momoa
We got Prowler.
Prowler too.
Prowler's in it.
Prowler's
Oh, yeah.
there. And Miles is older now, 5 years older than whatever he was, so
Unless
he's
he
not too
blipped.
far off.
Unless he blipped.
Do they ever like acknowledge? No, they don't ever.
No.
The
acknowledge
fact that they
his-
reveal his uncle, you know he exists in the universe.
He says my nephew
said my
lives in this
nephew.
neighborhood.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
from Homecoming. Yeah, it was Donald Glover.
Yeah, so having Miles in it down the line, a little bit down the line would be sick.
Can you imagine Jason Momoa as Kraven?
He would be so sick as
He'd be
Kraven.
sick.
But Aquaman's definitely getting a sequel, so
And
I don't think
Aquaman was
so.
also awesome too.
and made a fuck ton of money.
Yeah,
It was okay.
I still haven't seen it.
I
I
watched
liked
it on the plane.
I liked it a lot. It's definitely an okay movie as a movie, but
But that was entertaining as
It was
shit.
entertaining as fuck,
Yes.
dude. Like I was like, I was totally okay with it, the story being like mediocre at best, which it totally was, but I was into it. It totally got me, you know. And there was, and you know what? And I will admit, like there was definitely some good scenes in there too, because I think James Wan's a good director. So like, especially the scenes with Willem Dafoe, you know, he's always just fucking coming up, and Patrick Wilson were great. Like those were actually legitimately like well acted. So I don't know. I liked Aquaman. I think I like Aquaman more than most people, probably though.
So I can't wait. I hope that the next movie picks up from there.
Yeah, it has to.
It can. It has to pick up from right there. I don't want any time after. I want it from right there. And now getting into the final post-credit scene, where it's revealed that Maria Hill and Fury, that we dealt with the entire movie, were Talos and Soren. It also, which great reveal, and then we see Nick Fury on the Skrull spaceship.
Who's the actor that plays Talos again?
Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah, great actor.
But you see him at the end of Endgame when Peter first goes back to school. You see him as the principal in the background.
Gotcha.
So I was waiting for him to appear. Talos, that in his human form.
Do you really?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
he's
didn't
in
catch
the
that.
background when Peter first gets into school and sees Ned
Has
again.
that been confirmed, or that's a theory?
Dude, that had to have been him. And honestly, it would make sense if that was him, because then Fury could have placed him there to keep an eye on Peter for when he needed him.
Would make a lot of sense.
And then they got to show how long Fury's been on a spaceship. People are gonna probably thinking it's like, oh, Fury was up there the whole time. I do not think that at all. I think that's a super recent thing, probably as recent as Endgame.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige said real Nick Fury was at Iron Man's funeral.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So then right after that,
Yeah.
it makes sense for him to go up there because he understands the galactic threats are insane. And we haven't even really, even scraped the surface of the galactic threats with the Guardians movies or Captain Marvel. And it's just going to, now that they own the rights to Fantastic Four, we're going to see Annihilus, fucking Galactus,
Cannot wait for
and all his
Galactus.
heralds and shit, and just the Shi'ar and everybody that they're going to, and Vulcan, that whole, there's so much that they have out there now.
Sean Bean from National Treasure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. So it makes sense why he would be up there after Endgame. And I think that it's a super recent thing. I think it's after the funeral.
I
for
100%
sure.
agree with you too. Because,
And I think that anybody who says that it was the fake, he was Nick Fury the entire time, is a fucking moron. There's no way, because Nick Fury is prepared for everything, and that's why in the reveal and they show he was fooled by Beck. You're like, oh, okay, why would that happen? I don't think that would have affected him that much. Throughout the rest of the movies he's in, he's prepared for everything except for Hydra.
you especially.
But even then, he's still
He was
kind of
even
prepared for
prepared for
Hydra.
that,
Yeah, like it's not even so much that he's prepared. He's just. Well, I guess he's always prepared, no matter what happens, even if it's unexpected to him, because he's so paranoid.
And he's suspicious. Yeah, he's paranoid about everything.
yeah,
And it's so
Rightfully
funny
so.
in the end credit scene they make they make a joke about that.
Yeah.
He's like yeah, he really got me.
Yeah.
he got me.
Yeah. And then
I'm a
so
little ashamed. This is Shapeshifter.
what that can set up is, since they still have Skrulls on Earth, or good Skrulls. I mean, there's definitely still evil Skrulls out there. I 100% believe it, because they said they were scattered across the galaxy.
yeah,
With those Skrulls on Earth and them working with Fury, and now that he can have one of the Skrulls impersonate Peter while Spider-Man's still out there, at the same time, or vice versa. Have a Skrull in the Spider-Man costume going out, so they can be like, no, how can I be Spider-Man, be here and there?
yeah. I was thinking of that too.
Because the general public doesn't realize that Quentin Beck was using those drones for illusions. They just think that he ended up being bad, but then enough people believe that he was set up by Spider-Man.
I just hope Spider-Man doesn't make a deal with the devil.
I hope so too.
Yeah,
Because people are like, oh, in Doctor Strange 2 as a post-credit scene. Well, even if they introduce him during the movie as a post-credit scene, and they'll be like, he'll bring Peter to Mephisto. I don't want that storyline to happen.
no, I don't want that.
There doesn't need to be a deal with the devil. I think it'd be that would be.
It was stupid
that'd be
in the
a
comic
cop-out.
books.
It'd be a cop out, and they can do so much more interesting ways to do it than this.
Right, and especially with all the mystical elements that have been introduced in this series, you're telling me there's no way you can conjure up of wiping people's minds about it, even if it doesn't have to be a completely
I mean,
smart
think
way.
about Doctor Strange and Reed Richards wiped the entire planet's minds of Sentry in the comics.
Yeah,
like billions of people.
Yeah.
Because after what he did with New York with the Void,
Scarlet Witch could easily wipe everybody's mind.
I think so too. They haven't
down.
scratched the
Wipe their
surface of
mind.
her full.
She could make them believe
She
that
can-
they didn't
Yeah.
see that.
No,
She-
she could actually just rewrite the reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just doesn't know it yet, and I can't wait. There's
That's why what's it? WandaVision?
WandaVision. Yeah,
WandaVision's
Vision
gonna
and
be
Wanda, whatever it's
yeah.
gonna. I'm excited for that.
That's going to be sick.
Yeah, I think that there's so much possibility here, and I really hope that Sony realizes, you know what, the number one, the most popular character in Marvel history, other than Captain America, let's let them
Let's let
handle it.
them
We'll
take
do
it.
our shitty spin-off movies in our shitty universe, but there's no way we can replicate this success with the amount of money that this is making.
The thing with the Skrulls now, too, is if RDJ ever wants a cameo, they can
True.
impersonate him.
True. Or Captain America.
Yeah. So that would be interesting to see. I would really love to see them do Secret Invasion. Or
I hope
Secret
so,
Wars.
too.
Secret
The
Invasion.
Russos said that they would come back for one of those, for the Avengers movies.
Well, they're setting it up now that the Infinity Saga's over. Their next big event, I think, Secret Invasion makes perfect sense.
It
You already
does.
set up the Skrulls infiltrating, even though in this movie they show it as a benefit. The station that Fury and Maria Hill are on at the end is clearly the Sword Station, which is made to deal with cosmic threats.
Right.
The Secret Invasion storyline was a major cosmic threat.
Right.
Right.
And they're also set up like, oh, we've known since Captain Marvel, the 90s, the Skrulls we've known have been good. And now they're not going to be able to trust them. So you really don't know. I mean, aside from just the full shape-shifting effect, what can happen. I think Secret Invasion is a good storyline that they should do. And Secret Wars, and they have so much going out there. Annihilation Conquest, Annihilation itself. And then there's just so, with these rights, they have so much going out there. And then not to mention whatever they can do with the X-Men.
Fox had the Skrull, right?
Fox has Super Skrull and
Super
half
Skrull,
like
okay.
some of the Skrulls, like
I think they originally debuted in a Fantastic Four.
they did.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
the Super
why they
Skrull is the Fantastic Four's powers into
Yeah.
one.
But even like some of the named Skrulls, they didn't have. Fox had the right to them.
Yeah.
Like the line Scott, it got tricky on a couple characters. But I can't fucking wait for the next one.
I just want to see Super Skrull on screen. Like, I would love to see Super Skrull on screen
A few years.
one day.
I would say within 5 years, maybe. No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't be in the first Fantastic Four movie.
No way.
No.
Within 10 years.
They almost did that at the Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Oh,
when,
yeah.
When they
Yeah.
gave.
When
what's
he
his
had
name?
all four of their
Yeah.
powers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, essentially the same.
Delia
character.
really liked Rise of the Silver Surfer.
He said that the decision to have Galactus be a giant cloud was great.
Yeah, giant fart.
Wait, yeah.
I try to erase
you're,
that
you're
from my
being.
memory.
I'm
right?
joking.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean,
I'm 100% joking.
I mean, he loved
No,
the
we're not,
Mandarin.
dude.
He really
twist.
did legitimately like the Mandarin
So
twist.
if he, liked the
legitimately
Mandarin
did like
twist, he
that.
could have loved the Galactus.
I
smoke.
know.
Yeah, that giant fart cloud, it made a shadow on Saturn or whatever that looked just like Galactus.
Yeah, right.
That was
oh,
real good.
God.
Giant fucking mass. How did it make a shadow?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
Like-
like granted,
Stupid.
Galactus looks goofy in the comics, but it's still cool. Like if I were to,
But they've made a lot of-
Consistently goofy.
Yeah.
He's looked like that. He hasn't changed
Right,
since
but-
they introduced
But they've
him.
made a lot of goofy characters look good.
But even I'm not arguing any of that. Like I get that he looks goofy, but like even the goofiness with him, like he still has a cosmically towering presence to him. So like
He's insanely fucking powerful.
yeah. So like of course he's gonna fucking
Ridiculous.
look like that.
So it doesn't matter
you
what he
know?
looks like. His
Yeah.
power is almost immeasurable.
Like if I had no imagination to myself whatsoever, and you're like, hey, like John, you come up to me like Connor. Guess what? Like
That's not John. That's Joe.
Joe, whatever, fucking
Piece of shit.
I'm sorry, Joe. You come up to me and like, you're like, I want you to imagine a galactic level threat, and the person has to look like a human being. Like
I probably would have drawn that.
yes,
Exactly.
yes. Like I would have drawn something like, or I would have thought something
a
like,
huge humanoid
Yeah,
looking guy
like,
with
yeah,
just
so
a
the
crazy
ridiculous
helmet.
helmet. Yeah.
Drawn in
Right.
what?
And
Like
you name him
what was he
Galactus.
drawn? Like the 60s or 70s? He was created.
Yeah.
yeah, 60s.
Very early on. It makes perfect
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And now that that's definitely a sword station.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now, Phase 4, there's going to be a lot of cosmic-based stuff
Well,
that
we
they're saying.
should get a reveal next week, right? Something.
Yeah. They got Hall H back.
Yep.
They're gonna they have to unleash the full Phase 4 lineup. I think.
They have to.
Although I kind of wish that they would go back to how they slowly revealed what movies were coming next with the post-credit scenes. It also built up so much more hype when you announce it at the, like.
Well, also
ahead of time.
too, like them announcing Phase 4 doesn't mean it's going to exactly play out that way too.
Well, I mean, yeah, look what happened with fucking Inhumans.
Yeah, that's
amongst
exactly what
everything.
I was thinking. Delia's favorite show.
He did like the show.
A lot.
I think he just said he didn't like the first 2 episodes, but it got pretty good. I'm not.
Oh, wait,
I'm not
really?
making that up. Or he said it wasn't that bad. It's one of those two things. Anthony, I know you're going to listen. I'm going to get an angry text from you. Sorry, but
I'm gonna back him up on this. I might regret saying this, but it wasn't awful. There's one comic series that's actually titled Inhumans. I forget the year. It almost followed that pretty well. I'm not saying it was a great show by any means. The casting was fucking terrible, but storyline wise, it wasn't that bad.
you can follow a storyline and still write the storyline terribly.
I never watched it.
I haven't watched
either.
it.
I
I watched the
can't-
pilot, and that was horrendous.
The pilot was awful. It was
Horrendous.
I was told not to watch it
Where can I find it?
Online.
online.
Yeah.
I think
It's probably on Hulu,
yeah.
ABC's streaming site. You can find it. It's the internet, dude.
Pretty
There's
sure I
ways to
just
find
set it into my Xfinity remote and it was there.
it. Oh yeah, it's
Oh,
definitely on
true.
there.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I know, like now Comcast is, dude. You know what I found out the other day? Remember like Comcast and Xfinity, like TV shows were free forever, like no matter what it was, because you fucking pay for TV.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, if it's past a certain timeline, like you have to buy the show. Like, are you fucking serious?
They're trying
Like,
to squeeze everything they can before they go out
yeah,
of
like dude, I already
business.
pay you for fucking TV. Like you should give it to me. Like
After I finished Stranger Things, I was searching for a new show to binge, and
Mm-hmm.
that was the first avenue I took, try to find something on there.
yeah.
Yeah, I had to pay for a lot of shit.
Yeah, right. It's annoying,
Yeah.
dude. Like I remember, like I would watch like TV, like
Just watch Russian Doll on Netflix. It's awesome.
yeah. Anyway, this isn't the fucking Xfinity podcast, but so I think we should do final scores.
This was like definitely at least a 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, it was definitely like I would say a 9 too. For me.
It was fucking.
I would actually say a 9.5.
Yeah, I would
was
say
easily
9.5.
like a hard 9.
I mean, just for that fucking first scene alone where he tricks Peter with those effects alone, like
That was a 10. That's
that
right
was
there.
Yeah.
that was
That's
like
a
an
10.
It was
11 out of
visually
10 right
stunning.
there.
It really
But I
was
think the
amazing.
story was handled well. The characters, it's set up. I think all the performances in this were awesome, especially Tom Holland and Jake Gyllenhaal. Was great, and those post-credit scenes are fucking hype as hell.
yeah, straight height, definitely.
Do you guys still stick to your scores from the beginning
I
of
think
the
the
episode?
post-credit scenes bump it up like a full point for me. I'm gonna go on a 9 just because of those two.
You know, I think I opened up at 7.5. All this convincing, I think I'm going to go to an 8.5.
Sometimes talking about a movie
Yeah.
Makes it better.
changes
It
your-
does.
It either
really
makes
does.
it better or makes it worse.
Say, well, you like.
Well, we've
like-
talked about this. We both separately. You guys had the same way with X-Men Apocalypse. You thought it was not bad, and then you immediately start talking about same thing happened to us, and that movie became a big pile of shit.
Yeah.
Before we even reached the car in the parking lot.
Right, yeah, like when we.
exactly,
I remember exactly when we looked at each other. Like I was like, it wasn't terrible.
Like, yeah, you know what? That wasn't
Except
that
for
bad.
this. and
Yeah,
that, and
and
like,
like, oh, wait a second.
Wait a second.
Yeah,
It
I
was a
think
real
I
shitty movie.
walked out of that movie. There was a post-credit scene. We were walking to the car, and I was like, oh, that was like a 7.5. And then we're walking, and I'm like, yeah, that's like a solid 4 now.
Yeah.
People
and they
still
did
do that.
nothing with that after credit scene.
No.
People
nothing at
still
all.
do that with Star Wars movies. So like, it's just how it is, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, there's a number of movies like it legitimately happens. Like you either make it better or it makes it worse. It just depends on the quality of the movie while you're talking about it. If
Yeah.
you find things you like
well,
better,
you didn't like Solo when we walked out of it.
I
and-
still don't really like it.
really.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you like might have liked it a little more after Dalia and I fucking.
It went up maybe a point or two. I still don't really like it.
Okay. Because I actually do like Solo a lot still. So I'm in the minority there. I get it.
I've never seen it.
It's really not that bad. In fact,
Skip it.
I'm probably going to get shit on for this. I'm not really a huge Star Wars fan.
That's fine.
That's fine. Everyone's got, I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan. And like, people.
Asshole.
Yeah, I did exactly.
Asshole.
Yeah, dude, it's funny because like I legitimately actually tried giving that series a chance. I read the first 2 books, I watched the first 2 movies, and like
I was
You
one
didn't
of
even
the,
get to the
I was
best
one of the
movie.
people who went to Barnes and Nobles the day it released to get.
I
those
get
books.
it, yeah. And everyone said,
Same.
but you stopped at the best
And I'd,
part,
like-
and I'm like,
You didn't
okay.
even get to the
They,
best movie.
they would like catch me like sitting in the bathroom for like 2 hours. Like, Dom, what are you doing in there?
This guy
I'm like,
used
I'm
to.
reading.
This guy used to shit and read a chapter. All right, that's fine if you're reading like a regular book that's like 10 pages.
Yeah.
Like no, it's like 50-page chapters. Like, dude, I gotta take a shit now.
Yeah, like get the fuck out of
2
there.
or 3 bathrooms in the house. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I never really got into Harry Potter. It's funny because I didn't like after the first 2 movies and the first few books, I was like, this just isn't for me. I guess I don't get why. Like I was more into other things, and like then I saw 7 Part 1. It's like I had no fucking clue. What
well,
was going
yeah.
on. Yeah.
So you couldn't enjoy
No,
it.
yeah. It's like I was barely even into the movie. But that's another story for a different day. Cool.
It's all right. There's people out there that don't like Lord of the Rings, so shows you how
Yeah,
smart some
I'm not
people
saying
are.
I don't like Harry. It's not that I dislike
I
Harry
thought you were about
Potter.
to say something about Lord of the Rings. I was like, what the fuck?
No,
I was good.
I was like, wait a minute. We've watched it together.
Yeah, on multiple occasions, I watched all 3 movies in one day. But and I read those books too, and they were great. But like, I don't know, Harry Potter. Like, it's not bad.
I get it.
Yeah, it's clearly amazing.
I don't
Like,
agree with you, but I get it.
Yeah, like it's clearly amazing. I will never talk shit about it, like saying it's the worst fucking thing ever, because it's clearly not. Like they have a fucking
It's just not for you. I
yeah,
get
they
it.
have a theme park of it where millions of people go. It's just not for me.
I want to go there.
I do too.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, guys, thank you for joining once
Thanks
again.
for having us again.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully for the next Marvel movie, or maybe another movie. There's not gonna be a Marvel movie for a while.
Nah, for a
Not
while.
until at least March or April.
We'll pick another movie.
Probably
for you guys
Black
to
We
come
do
on.
like
I'm sure I did.
Hobbs and Shaw review. We can do that one.
Yo,
Oh my
No, I was completely
god!
kidding. I can't even. I
No, we
can't,
should.
I can't,
We
no,
should.
I'm not going to see that fucking movie.
I will,
I'm not
100
If you guys do a podcast, I'll go see the movie opening night just to do a podcast.
are we
about
Did
it.
you see that
Fuck.
trailer?
See what I
Oh
just
my
started?
god!
Yeah.
Did you fucking see how ridiculous that shit was?
It's just let's just do the most stupid shit we
Yeah,
possibly
Yeah,
can.
I
That's
think
fine.
that's the route
Until
they're taking.
people
Yeah,
stop-
that's and I'm
until
cool with
people
that.
stop showing up, we're just gonna make it as bullshit as possible.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And honestly, I watch movies that I know are going to be bad just as long as I know they're going to be entertaining.
that's fine. Like
I really have no intention of seeing that movie.
If I'll come here and do a
At the end of
podcast.
the at the end of the day, a movie's end goal is to entertain you, and if they have to do ridiculous ways of entertaining you, I'm all about it. So I don't know, Hobbs and Shaw. Like it, I'm not gonna say it looks good, but it looks entertaining. All right, let's end on that.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys, for listening. Comic-Con's right around the corner, literally. Maybe we'll do an episode about that depending on when it gets released.
We should.
Can't fucking wait. Take it easy.
Peace.
Hey everybody, it's time for the Awesome Sunday Show.